Hey everybody, Texas Stroker here, Lance's Performance Shop, Lone Star Mopars.com. Finally opened up some ridiculously good deals we got on these Icon Swivel Sockets. SAE, 3/8 and 1/2 inch drive. 3/8 are off to the side over here. And while I love that they include the plastic storage case, right? I love that it's, you can fortify it with foam and it's pretty solid type of a thing. It just isn't quite what I want. Now, the biggest selling point of these might be that they are stackable, kind of. So if you had the Metric and the SAE, you could sort of profile them right, put them two on top of each other. I'll probably foam these here in a little bit just in case. But here's the thing, I kind of have something else in mind for them, and it's kind of a twofold project, but this is sort of a tool haul. It'll be from National Tool Warehouse, and it's a situation. I'll just go ahead and throw down what I've got here. It's this guy right here, and it is, of course, one of their lock socket rails. These are super nice, super beefy. The thing that I love about these, they do have a lock socket rail that does not have the size labels, but this has size labels in and they're sweet, they're easy to see, and in my opinion they're going to pair really, really well with swivels. You got extra weight, you got odd sizes, you're going to be able to see that whether you orient it in sideways or long ways or what ways. Even with the magnet, might be able to hold it vertical if you ever needed to do that temporary. But once again, these are mechanics time savers, and some of you see an issue right off the bat, and it's that my setup, what I'm doing, that we've put in the impact stuff in the Master Tech from Harbor Freight, and that orange is SAE and green is Metric. So you're like, that's Metric. See, caved in. Is he going to do all orange like I wanted him to do? Some of you are like, yes. Others are like, no. Yeah, you got to keep with the system you got. You spent too much time on it. These were getting to be really hard to find. I'll tell you right now, when I got these, they were very limited selections. They were sold out. I couldn't really find them anywhere. I don't know if it's like a temporary deal or if they're going to come back or what. But I also got a really good price on these. These were on some sale, so these are typically a fairly expensive product, but in terms of what you're getting, aluminum rail, magnetic, across the whole size, not just like a couple of dots or something, and the size labels. What do you think I paid for that on sale? I think most of you probably think like 20 something seems fair. Got them for like $18.89 or $18.81, something in the 1880s. And that's why I took a chance on this. Now, in my opinion, and when you read the product description, these, I think I bought them from a couple of different places now. They're supposed to come, like if you buy this and it's set up for Metric, it's like supposed to come with the SAE size labels, right? And you just pop these off and put those on. This did not. My previous ones I bought haven't, aside from Carlyle. Carlyle actually sends you the matching labels. Like if you buy an SAE rail and you get it SAE labeled, sometimes you don't, you get the box of Metric. If you buy the Metric rail and you get it Metric labeled, you have SAE labels come, right, in case you want to switch it or something. So I don't know if that's changed, the product description needs to be updated or what, but this was actually bought as a Metric rail. Why? Because they didn't have SAE in anything really. So my thoughts were like, what's going on? Is this like being phased out? Is it going away? I don't know. I need to ask Mechanics Time Savers. I guess it's probably just a deal like they were sold out. Maybe it's like slow to come back in stock or something. There's quite a bit involved in these, but I cashed in on it. And I also cashed in on this, which will be the first one in this color you've ever seen. You can probably guess what it is. Same thing, 3/8 drive, lock a socket, just in green, and it looks so freaking good. Like the orange is really nice, but I'm like, this green is super good. Obviously the green people, you're gonna love these things. If you've never seen one, like it's good. Right now, the plastic casing is kind of like creating a lot of gloss and light effects, scatter and stuff. I'll get them opened up here in a second. You'll be able to better appreciate it. This we're going to pair with our 3/8 Harbor Freight Icon Swivels. The Metric ones in a tray, not like this, but longer in gray, because they're Metric. And, I don't remember the size range on that, but I think this will cover it. And then right here, this sucker, I just bought this. I don't even have the Icon 1/2 inch swivels. But in the event that we get them, I've got this now. I was hoping it would come with size labels too, but it didn't. And we've got our 10 all the way through 25 in this case. So I think I will have to ask MTS, like, hey, what's going on with these things? But I want to highlight this real quick, just so you know I'm not lying. When I bought the Carlyle ones, like, geez, 2 years ago now, they're blue, obviously. They have Carlyle branding instead of MTS. MTS, if you couldn't deduce, is the manufacturer behind it. But I've got it labeled right here. That's their part numbers. The black writing is mine. And when I open this up, you're going to see what we have. And it's kind of cumbersome. Let's see if we can get a couple of these slid out. You got like your 9/16, your 11/16. You just pop these off, right? And so technically, right now, these are 1/2 inch. If I wanted to convert this to SAE, I could do it. I've got some other labels over there as well. But for right now, I just kind of wanted to open these up. That way I can kind of like move them about, play around with my storage situation. And I want to get a rail or so populated, sort of so we can just take a look at these things. Hopefully by the time I release this video, I will have communicated with MTS and kind of figured things out. But $18.89 I want to say for the 3/8, and then this one was like, I think $20.01. Strange prices. That's just the way it is on in TW sometime. But it was a stupid good sale. Getting this sucker right here. I mean, this is a long little dude here, and quality stuff. Big size labels. I mean, this is a 22 3/4 inch rail, for goodness sakes. 10 through 25 to give you perspective on it. $20. Okay, I'll just take my money. And again, that's kind of the plan. I think where these will shine is with the swivels. Now that said, I do have these in use, and I'll run you over to the Master Tech and show you. So we've kind of got our Ernst setups here, right? Our 3/8 Capri, semi-deep included here for SAE, metric, shallow and deep. But then this little bigger area, we have our MTS Rails, right? These are obviously SAE ones, which sadly didn't come with the metric labels. But I kind of went with those. Just I had them. I wanted to try them out. I thought they looked really cool. 1/2 inch is like heavier weight. There is a very real chance I'm considering moving everything off of those and going to Ernst for the 1/2 inch drive. In part, I really want those swivels that are on the bench to be on this rail. The Wrights are totally fine. They're going to fit in the confines of an Ernst setup. They run, if you can see there, 1.25 all the way down to 7/16. The Proto is a massive, stupid set. Okay, it goes from 3/8, yes, 1/2 inch drive with 3/8 deep, all the way not to 1 5/16. There's like 4 or 5 more sockets, maybe 3 or 4 more sockets that have no prayer of fitting on that and didn't have pegs anyway. Those two are out and about right now, but that was kind of the reason I thought, man, this is going to fit more of the sockets. My main thing, if I can get through 1.25 like the Wright, that covers the majority of what I do. And it's kind of overkill to have the bigger sizes up here, I was thinking. So I might switch this out and do a 2-rail 18-inch socket boss tray for these 1/2 inch impacts. It would basically be like what we have here with the Icon, okay? So it's kind of what I'm thinking. And then I don't, as much as I'd love to have the swivels up here, I'm trying to keep the metric because I'm doing more late model crud, but it'll be easy to switch around, I think, is the big deal. So that's kind of the story here. I've got a low battery light flashing, sadly, but I'm going to go cut those open, and maybe we'll populate the rail or something, take a look at it. But this is an ever-changing deal until I get it just perfect, if that exists, which it probably doesn't, which is why it drags on so long. But I think that might be the ticket up here, and then that'll free up all this space here. Obviously, these are, if you did not know, the Capris are pretty comprehensive socket sets for 3/8 drive. Those are 18-inch rails, not 13, but 18s. If I get that out of the way, in this space here, we can conceivably have, like another socket boss even. So It's kind of a win-win across the board, but I'm going to go ahead and play around, move some stuff, see what it winds up looking like. Oh yeah, now that's a sweet payoff. This is the rail that the rights were previously on. Now the rights did what I think is cool. You inch and an eighth, inch and a quarter, so you got your 3/4 hardware plus 3/4 heavy hex with inch and a quarter. Inch and 3/16, that was one that I had pulled from the rail. It came with it, as does a 1 5/16 for what that's worth, and a 3/8 actually. Case in point, right here. Again, this goes back to when I had taken this apart originally to set it up for the right stuff. The way it works, you just take that number 2 Phillips out, that's indexed into the keyway. You pull that out, I slid out the inch and a quarter, slid the 1 3/16 in, slide the inch and a quarter in, and now our entire tray used to be sitting right here. This gives you an idea how they were oiled on those Icon swivels. 7/16 to inch and a quarter is taking up considerably. Granted, it is a bit longer, but I mean, think of the profile there. So that is a win. And what I want to do now is come in, and you can see we've got our 3/8 rail for our swivels, and metric. I think it's 10 through 19, so 8 and 9 are coming off. And then 20 and 21 are also coming off. So we'll take this screw out, extract those, take that screw off, extract those, and be home free. The rail will wind up being a little larger than would be ideal. Will we cut it down in the future? Possibly. Will we leave it in the event that we procure different sizes and want to add it back? Maybe as well there too. So I'm also, it's getting really late, sadly. It's 8:11. The time change is awesome. It's like still somewhat daylight out there. I've got the door cracked. But I haven't eaten anything. I gotta be up early in the morning. But I think I'll go ahead and at least get this done. I'll see if there's enough battery for me to show that to you. Okay, so right here, I'll try to quickly make this happen for us. We simply turn this number 2 Phillips screw out. It looks like it might release now, ironically. And it's keyed right here. You can kind of see those recesses on the plastic. And to get the 8 and the 9 out, all you've got to do, they do need to be free. They're currently in a locked position. So if we turn it like so and shimmy it, they're a little stiff at the start, and then she slides right out. Same thing here, 8 and 9. Basically take this guy, slide it right back into position, and tighten this screw down. That's legitimately all there is to taking care of these. So I've got kind of a funky glare on the camera here, and having a very hard time seeing, but it's that easy. You do want to tighten that down. Obviously it's better if you've got a tripod not standing in front of you. Nonetheless, there it is, 10 through 21. We're going to take off the 20 and the 21 the exact same way. Can we do it? Let me make sure you can actually see, kind of. So we'll spin this guy out. Eyes are watering really bad for some reason. We'll take that. Stahlwille holds the screws. So nice. So 21, same thing. We've got to crack it. 20, we've got to crack that. They should slide out like butter. And then this slides back in. All this really does is keep your pegs from sliding out if they weren't locked. Look at that. So good. And we can see this side a little easier, so we'll tighten her down. And we have now taken 4 pegs off in a matter of seconds, and we've got a 10 through 19 setup. Obviously it'll fan out a little, but I think there'll still be a good bit of space. So I'll get the sockets on, see what she looks like. Alright, I'm kind of in a hurry here, but you'll note this is the orange 3/8 metric rail, 21 through 8. Harbor Freight one's right here, 5/16 to 1 inch, and this is, I'd recommend you use a trim tool or something to protect the finish on these, but if you come in and you just sort of lift up and pry, that's all you've got to do, and then obviously you can put your new ones on. In this case, I'll just throw this one down, even though I'll probably have to take it off. Basically just press it in, and it is now locked in place. So since I'm fighting battery life and time, I'm going to get these off, show you the end result. Alright, so 8 through 21 are off, and right here coming down the line we've got 1 inch all the way down to 5/16, which is 1 all the way to 5/16 in this Harbor Freight Icon tray. We're going to flip them, get them turned around the way they're supposed to be, and we'll show you the end result. Oh man, does that look good. So basically what we've done, we just went ahead and went full tilt here. We got our 1/2 inch Icon swivels on the back, 1/2 inch rail, 7/16, 1.25 inch, no skips. Pretty well fills it out. I think you could compact it and fit maybe one more socket, particularly if it was 3/8 inch and 5/16, you'd be pushing it. These 3/8 rails here, a little bit shorter than the 1/2 inch, basically screwdriver and a half width on both sides. 10 through 19 on the metric. You could fit way more in there. Aesthetically, centering them would look the best, you know, spacing them out between the sockets. I'm not quite sure if we'll maybe add some like extensions or if we'll expand smaller or larger duplicates. I don't know, so we're going to leave it as is. We also could cut the rails down maybe. Our 1/4 or 3/8 SAE, 5/16 to 1 inch. What's the difference? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 piece metric, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 piece SAE. I have these pretty evenly spaced, minus the 1 inch, slightly bigger gap, so like you could fit one more big socket, you know, like 1 inch and 1/8 clutch or something. And what I want to highlight, since that conveniently fell down, this is the footprint of the metric tray. 19 through 10, we've got it now oriented properly for my liking. And you can see this is smaller, but look what it does. It takes basically the space of these two rails combined. So where this held 10 sockets, the SAE right here, it's not foam, so it's a little looser. It's slightly bigger. I mean, like, I'm talking like half the width of a finger, but it holds an extra 2 sockets. So if I just put that down, it again, roughly, if I spin you over here, you can't tell from that angle, but again, it's like basically my hand width, if you will, that the MTS rails are longer than these Icon's plastic trays. But again, I'm holding 12 and 10 for 22 sockets versus the same footprint. The difference is way more pronounced with this thing. So obviously, you know, like you could fit 2 of these trays here, but where I have the entire 14-piece set on one rail vertically, this footprint, while again it is roughly half of the rail, it also covers this rail, this rail, this rail, and I could fit 1 or 2 more rails vertically underneath the footprint here. So this video could time out, the battery could die. LoneStarMopars.com is a website. You can find us Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all 3 at Lone Star Mopars. If you enjoyed the video, I encourage you to leave a like, experience, thoughts, leave a comment. If you have not subscribed, I encourage you to do so. Most importantly, I hope you just got timed out there, cleared some more. What I was saying though, hope you enjoyed the video. Most importantly, I hope you have yourself a fantastic weekend. Just real rough. I know it's not accurate because we're measuring from the top. This is basically 10.5 wide, and then the thing here, your depth, is going to be about 9 1/4. All right, so 10.5 by 9 1/4. Our 10.5 on this 3/8 rail is basically to the 3/4 socket. So what's the length on this rail itself? Essentially 18.5 inches. All right, so yes, it is longer than that tray, but here's the thing, I have space between these, like my index fingers touching the work mat, my index fingers touching the work mat, going from front to back. Man, I wish you could see that. It's dead on 6 inches. I know we're cantering in, making it bigger, but right over there, it's 6 inches. And I don't have these compacted together. Your space savings is right there. Where did I set these? Over here. So hopefully the battery light lasts. Just again, measuring the lid, we're going to call that 16 inches. And then our big thing here, though, the depth is 4 inches. So right here, with space between these, this is slightly under 4 inches. And then again, your width is 16. If we come in here, end to end, you're looking at like 18 3/4 or so. So they are slightly longer than, especially in this 3H drive configuration, it is just a little bit longer, but we're fitting double the sockets in essentially the same footprint. Now you could stack these, but you're going to have to then physically remove your metric set to get to your SAE or vice versa, whereas this in the drawer, 22 sockets in the space of 10 or 12. So it's kind of a win, essentially doubling our capacity. So I will say those trays are decent. I wish they were inverted differently, but it's nice they are included. This, though, especially for these swivels, is just kind of the ticket. Keep in mind, we can lop it off. On this metric one, we could comfortably shave 5 inches, realistically, if you need to compact it and then free up some space over here. Half inch, I think you'd want to leave that. I don't think you're going to fit another socket. You could totally compact it a bit more and probably shave 2 inches maybe. But if you leave them standard, this is sort of where you're at. You can slide them all over. Those pegs, they'll totally hold extensions. You could put a little stubby and then maybe a 1.5 inches and a 3-inch. It'll still clear your drawer most likely in this case. I mean, realistically, you're over 3 inches on that 1.25 inches. Even this 1 inch here, you're pushing 2.5. So stubbies, adapters as well would be something you could accessorize there. But that's that. Again, my apologies. I'm going out of town tomorrow and the battery lights flash. I'm trying to get this done, but that's sort of your bonus footage, your measurements. Let me know your thoughts on all this. Again, hope you enjoyed. Most importantly, hope you have yourself a fantastic evening.